Wisteria vines in trees. Good idea, bad idea? Well, let's talk about it. This job was interesting because the clients were rather old, in their late 80s, and they loved the wisteria blossoms hanging down from their oak tree in their backyard. So we were instructed not to take the wisteria out of the tree, but there was a lot of big dead branches in the oak tree. Our job was to work our way through this backyard tree, couldn't get a bucket back there, and figure out how to get all the dead branches out without tearing all the wisteria out. We did tell them that I wanted to bring some of the upper canopy wisteria down, but you can see there's lots and lots of little deadwood throughout the tree. There was a few big dead branches, completely dead branches. Jorge was able to get some of it off of the roof with a pole saw. I shot the throw ball up there and was able to work my way up, and I also was able to do a lot of pole saw work. You can see the location is a little bit awkward. We've got the swimming pool and a lot of stuff that we can break. And this is the view out of their back living room window, and you can imagine big wisteria, purple wisteria flowers hanging down over that view of the backyard. And it would be pretty, but not a good idea. So you can see we've got the double extensions on the pole saw and the pole pruner. Here I am up in the tree. I'm working some of this wisteria, and it's wrapped around the trunk so bad, I decided to take it out of there completely at this point. It was a nuisance job, getting that stuff out of there. It was so strong. I think I could have hung on these vines. So you can see what the vines were doing to the trunk of the tree up there. I cut that off. It'll resprout and it'll carry on. And this was the neighbor's tree. We had a tree right next door that was also completely filled up with wisteria. That was yesterday's job, and we had, I'd say, half of the day just pulling all the wisteria out of the tree because it wraps around all the branches. You can't just pull it out. You've got to go all the way up and snip it out. I wanted to show you something else back over in this job, but part of the job, that's where the wisteria was growing from, but part of the job was cleaning up over this plastic lawn. I hate plastic lawns. I think they are just a real nuisance. Here's a tip. We had tons of stuff that fell in the pool, and including a lot of big branches. We shagged all the big branches out with the pole saw. But if you use the blower at the end of the job for all of the leaves and all the small stuff, you can actually corral it all over to one side of the pool. This is a great tip. It speeds things up. And as you can see, we pulled that last bit out of there and pool was clean. Okay, off to another bid. This was these are apples. Oh, this is a client that has apple trees, and he says, I'm not in town, so go ahead and help yourself. I don't usually buy apples at this time of year. And at the front of the same house, I just wanted to share this. There was so many deer up here. Maybe they were going after his apples, but beautiful big buck there. A lot of the deer in these residential areas are quite, I can't say tame, but they just don't run away from you. It's kind of neat. That was a beautiful, beautiful big buck. Okay, off to another job. This was the week of oak trees. We had so many oak trees, but this one also included a view. And this is the view that they would like to have, but this is the view that they are stuck with. They want us to go in here and reduce a lot of this foliage so they can regain this view. And views are quite valuable. I mean, if you had this open view, there's their back deck there, and I'm up above, I'm in the bucket truck, I'm looking out across so I can see what kind of a view that they could have, but it means cutting so much. We're going to do the best we can. On the same job, there were some bay trees that had a huge oak tree that fell down rotted, and smacked these bays. Broke the tops out of a couple of them. But when I got up there, I went over and inspected the base of these bay trees. And first off, there was an awful lot of weight still up there, pushing down on all these trunks. And this one trunk right here, would you look at that? You can see underneath the base of that one. It was so rotted. So I'm guessing a long time ago there used to be a big bay in the middle that decayed and fell down or whatever. And these are all sprouts that came from it maybe. But wow, I don't know why these trees are still there. And they're quite tall. They're well over 100 feet tall. They're up on the hillside. And he did have a couple of big tops break out from that impact, as well as the windstorms that we had at the beginning of the year. So here's the target. And there's the bay trees. I'm going to show you how tall they are. It's kind of hard to tell from this video, but these are really giant trees. And if any one of them goes down, they're leaning towards the house. So the likelihood of an impact is very, very real. I don't know. I brought it to his attention, but it's up to him. This is another part of the job. We had a big oak that had a lot of weight on it, and that's what we did. We took all the weight off, made it much safer. I did have a job that I pulled up at my house that was kind of an urgent thing that I've been putting off and putting off. So this is on the drive up to my house. I've got some giant firs up here, and I got the throw bag launcher, the Apta, and I shot it way up in the tree here. I wanted to share this. I put the camera down. Here's the problem. During the big windstorms, we had a lot of big limbs break. And from the ground, that doesn't look very big, but that's probably 300 or 400 pounds. It's quite long. It's a lot bigger than it looks. And it was right over our barbecue area. So I got my air pump out, and this little pressure gauge here is really important because when I'm determining how far to shoot, I got to figure out how much air pressure. Ready?
Yes.
I got it. Let me see if I can get it to go back up to go over that branch. First shot. I love it. Exactly where I was shooting.
There you go. Pretty good.
Damn, that couldn't have been better. Well, I think you could hear from the excitement in my voice. When you make it on the first shot, either throwing the throw bag or shooting the throw bag in an awkward spot, it's a cheap thrill, but I tell you, it really it made my day there. And here's how we tie the rope on to get it up and over. Jorge went up there. I did the roping work. We did have to rope this down in some big pieces. So I cut a piece off and polished it up, and I counted the rings. 65 years on this limb alone.